That message could not be more relevant today. With our democracy hanging on by its fingertips.
Hello, everybody. This is Leonard Johnson with another edition of the Run the Hammer podcast. We're having some difficulty getting Roosevelt on and trying to find out what the issue is. So everybody just hang in here and we'll see if we can find him. We are texting each other back and forth to try to find out what the issue is, but just give us a few minutes so we can get him in here, so we can get this thing. Yeah. I'm trying to find you, Roosevelt. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right, Roosevelt, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, Roosevelt? Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry, young people, but we just had a misstep here, and we're trying to, if I can add it to the screen. What about right now, Roosevelt? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, then we're ready to roll now. I do apologize for that, man, and everybody out there. I do apologize. Again, let me go back and welcome everybody to the Run the Hammer podcast. I don't know what happened. I'll be lying to you if I said so. But we got, the main thing is that we own, and I'm trying to get rid of this music right here. And can you hear that background music, Roosevelt?
I can.
Okay, let me see. I'll get rid of it here in a minute. All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right. Let's get ready to roll, man. Again, I apologize to everybody. This is a new platform I'm using, and trying to get used to it. And but it's a better platform. It allows us to do a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll get ready to roll. How was your day, Roosevelt?
It went well. Typical high school day, busy, but it went well. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Well, yeah, we've been trying to do this with you for a while, and I just marvel at the work you've done at Crestwood, and the job you've done. I remember when you first got that job, and I said, I hope he does well.
Yeah, good job. Baseball builders.
Yeah. Before we get into the meat of everything, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know who does Roosevelt, this dynamic. I think someone called you a young lion. I don't know what that term means, but they called you a young lion.
Well, my name is Roosevelt Nelson, head football coach at Crestwood High School. Been there 7 years. Married to India Nelson with two kids, Lauren Nelson, Jackson Nelson. A native of Rembert, South Line, which is a small town within Sumter County. Alumni of Crestwood High School. From there, I was fortunate enough to get an athletic football scholarship at Clemson University. I lived there for 3 years, finished up in 2005. And I definitely love what I do. I'm passionate about, helping young people, inspiring young people to do great things in the community. And I would say I'm all about, as far as the relationships, building relationships with individuals in my community and being that positive role model. Because we see some negative stuff today throughout our community with men of color, for being minority. But I take my job very seriously as being a head coach, being the task of developing young men.
You're very modest in your in describing yourself. What's the defensive line coach at Clemson?
Which one? Now Nick Easton.
I'm sorry, the one who just got there.
Nick Easton.
Yeah. He spoke very highly of you, man. He was at my place yesterday, and I told him that you were going to be on the show tonight, and he said, "No, I know Roosevelt, man. Yeah." Now you graduated from Clemson what year?
Yes, sir. 2005.
2005.
Yes, sir. 2005.
Gosh, that was the first year I was coming at Scotch Branch, and you must did you start coaching at Crestwood then, or you
I did. I did. I once I got out of playing college ball, I got into coaching. Actually, chasing the dream like everybody else does, but finally realized that wasn't going to happen. And actually, I was working at UPS for a few months, and got a phone call from the school district to come in for interview, and kind of hit the ground running. In. Actually, I was kind of waiting around. I did an interview actually with SLED prior to that. Did application with them. Was kind of wait around and see what's coming available first. But the school district call. When I went in and interviewed with later name of Dr. Mary Hallams, was at R. Davis at the time, and I already had the coaching job at Crestwood, assistant coach. She gave me an opportunity to get in the school district, working with kids at R. Davis Middle School, elementary at that time. Was coaching at Crestwood, jumped in it. Was coaching football, B team basketball, track and field, weightlifting, coach year round. I jumped in and wide open, start from the bottom. My high school coach, Keith Crowley, was the coach then, hired me on as the linebacker coach and kind of gave me an opportunity to go ahead and, and work. And I'm definitely, very thankful him, get an opportunity to get into coaching.
Now, what position did you play at Clemson?
I play linebacker.
You play linebacker?
Inside and outside. Yeah. Yes, sir. So
you own the position.
On the own position. Yeah, I played. I was a part of the team that had a lot of good players I played with.
Now, what was the standout time for you at Crestwood? You graduated from Crestwood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was it?
I'll tell anybody, man. Being at Crestwood, I've experienced the lows of lows and the highs of highs. Coming in as a freshman, I was pretty much thrust into having to play varsity. Early on, all my peers played the B team and JV, had successful season. They did, on my end. We didn't win a game. My first high school, we didn't win a game at all. But I got great experience, as far as being on the first on varsity playing. At that time, it was very tough, but looking back on it, very, very happy it took place. Going into my second year, Coach Crowley came in and kind of got the culture changed a little bit. At that point in time, we won I think 3 games that year, but it kind of felt it was going the right direction. Junior won a few more than my senior year. Had a definite breakout year. During that time, we won 8 or 9 games my senior year. Opportunity to play in the Shrine Bowl, was Mr. Football finalist. The year 2000, probably played on one of the better Shrine Bowl teams doing in the state history during that time. The 2000 Shrine Bowl team, about 44 players, man. It was probably about 39 guys played Power 5 ball from off of that team. Went all over the country.
I told you were being too nice to yourself. You were trying to be humble and everything. Who was your coach your first year when you went to high school?
Don Clayton.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was about to ask you that.
Yeah. Coach Clayton was come out of middle school, picking me up. Rest all my buddies in class. I'm getting out of school early to get the varsity football practice out there. And he definitely told me then, man, you're not gonna play JV varsity. You forget about that. I kind of see great things in you. You're gonna play varsity, this year.
Don is
wow,
Don is a good man.
Yeah, I had a great foundation of coaches. I mean, I go back to my middle school coach, Harry Fullwood. That was he played at Clemson himself, in the 70s. One of the first groups of blacks to come into Clemson to play football there, and getting to start with him at Edmonds Middle School, man, was outstanding. He kind of laid that foundation down and kind of gave me a great role model to look at on the field as a coach, to kind of see how to do things the right way. And then from there, and Coach Clayton came in my freshman year at Crestwood. Then from there, Coach Crowley, my last 3 high school. So I had great high school experience with coaches. I can say, man, my middle school coaching staff was influenced by a lot of great men. As far as all the guys were not in the district, but they were on volunteer basis. My dad was one of those coaches. He actually coached O-line, D-line. Was a deputy sheriff at that time. He did it right now. Chief Gardner, who's Sumter chief deputy. He was on the staff coaching then. Wesley Gardner. We had like 4 or 5 policemen that were actually our coaches, along with Coach Fullwood and Melvin McLeod, who's also still coaching now at Crestwood, was one of the assistant coaches then. So I had a great foundation of our strong men that made a great impact, on me early on through our coaching. And moving on to high school, some guys like Coach Crow, let's mention earlier. Mel McLeod actually was on that high school staff as well. Randy Stallner was on that staff as well with us. Mark Wade, Nelson Wallace, who also played at Clemson as well. He was on that staff for a few years with us. It's numerous of guys I can mention that was on those staffs during that time, and I had a great foundation. Learned a lot from those guys.
When did
And also another individual leave out is definitely what I say Brian Jackson. He was a individual that was there, man. Far as the strength program, the technology part with us doing our recruiting stuff, all that. I learned a lot from Coach Jackson, the weight room aspect as far as that, and we had a lot of conversations throughout the years on strength training. He was rugged now. He was hard nosed, whatever, but he had his niche, but he definitely cared about kids, and he was one of the ones that kind of helped me a lot for academically. Through school to kind of get my butt in gear to get eligible to get into Clemson. So I a lot of guys. I'm gonna did a lot of individuals through coach, man, that changed my life.
When did you make that decision that you were going to coach? When did the light bulb hit you?
It kind of hit me. I would say that summer when I was going to summer practice, because I got out of college, wanted to go to the NFL. That didn't work out. I want to go into law enforcement. I want to be a SLED agent, an FBI agent. That's what I want to do. And so I like, well, I got into coaching. Coach Crow called me up, come out and give me spring ball. Come out, give me spring ball, see how it goes. I went out doing spring, and man, he basically that gave me the Wilson, walked away from like, man, wow, what I'm going to do. So kind of went with it, and I found myself at home just kind of like looking at different anything I can do, with the drills aspect and bringing my knowledge from being and playing college football fresh out. Bringing that work ethic and the knowledge of the game and pointing to the young kids then. And I kind of started, feeling like, man, this can be a major impact. Maybe my niche right here. Still kind of was fighting it a little bit, but once I got hired into the district by Dr. Mary Hallams, that kind of sealed the deal. I can just coach high school football and be able to get in, inspire young kids, and be close to the game. Be connected. That's the biggest thing early on. Being a part of the game, I felt myself jumping in drills, then running around the kids, racing them, out lifting the weight room. Those years have kind of passed by now since went by some, but now but I got a young guy myself now. They're kind of doing the same thing then, but it's got, I would say doing the spring, summer.
You and when did you? A lot of guys going in, they think they want this headache, when did you decide that you were going to be a head coach?
I just probably around by year 3, year 3. But I knew it would take some time. I wasn't one of those guys where I'm going to be a head coach day 1 or year 2. I wanted to make sure that I understood ins and outs, which you never know. You never do. You're never gonna know all the answers. You're not. But I kind of started looking at Coach Kohler from afar, things she did. The situation she handled certain things. I would kind of call Coach Fullwood, my middle school coach, ask him questions. I found myself going to a lot more coaching clinics, picking the phone, calling other success high school coaches. What are they doing? Picking their brains, and just kind of researching a lot of things. Communicating people, talking, getting people different viewpoints on offense and defense, thing they do in their program. So that I kind of patting a lot of individuals.
And you mentioned your family. You say you've been married, I think 14, 15 years. That's what you said, if I remember correct. And how did you get so lucky to I'll kick your coverage, as they say?
I tell you, my wife is definitely my backbone. I'm very, very lucky. We met actually in college. We met in college. She was at Clemson. I was at Clemson. We met. She was working in the football recruiting area. We definitely never really crossed paths a whole lot. We had a couple of mutual friends, and I kind of put it out there. I was interested in her, because she kind of caught my eye. But I kind of got shot down the first time I tried to, make that coach to her.
So you got to work a little harder.
She might have heard. I might had a bad reputation. She meant, no, you're not gonna come play no game with me, buddy. So I kind of had to regroup.
You had to make some changes, huh?
Yes, sir. Had to make some changes, but she loved my life, man. Her and my kids, and definitely, like I said, I'm very, very thankful to have her as my wife.
Well, that's great, man. I like to give props to the wives because they go through a whole lot. People people don't realize some of the things that they have to go through to maintain the house. And everybody we've talked to on this podcast, man, they talk glowingly. So don't be ashamed to talk glowingly about your wife now. Don't hold anything back.
and also to go back what you said on far as becoming a head coach. So my journey was at Crestwood for 6 years assistant coach. 6 years. I'm coaching football, basketball, track and field, weightlifting, doing the scrimmage meets with Coach Jackson. Kind of jumped in. Rolled my sleeves up and was working. With it. And as year 5 years just came along. I feel I'm confident enough to go and kind of coordinate defensively. So Coach Crow got opportunity to take more responsibility, start letting me coordinate all the special teams for us. And we had a run of 3 seasons, man. We was in Lowell State 1 year and won a couple conference championships, and we were rolling. I had a big responsibility and a big hand in that, and definitely gave me a lot of more confidence to that. So I got a phone call one day from Perry Parks. He called me up, and if you know Perry, man, Perry, I got a phone call one day from a good friend of mine, Perry Parks.
Yeah.
And Perry's a great shooter. He talked real fast. He's real excited. He called me up. I got the job at Lakewood High School. I'm just come over and talk to me, man, about being a DC. Went and talked to him. Fast forward. I set the task with it. And during that time, man, he told me, if you're going to be a head coach, I'm going to put you in a position to be a head coach. And at that point in time, I never told me it before. If you're going to be a head coach in this business, I'm going to put you in a position to do that. And he gave me no responsibilities in his program at Lakewood to put me in position for that. So I owe him a lot of credit for that. And also another individual by the name of Terrence Scriven, which you probably know, Coach Scriven.
I know Terrence well.
No Terrence well. So at that point, also Terrence was transitioned from Furman Middle School, which is about 1,000 kids, over to Lakewood as the AD over there. So one day he walks in the field like, Nelson, what you doing, man? I'm doing things. Man, why don't you go down to Furman Middle School and interview for the AD down there? I'm like, hey, I don't do that. What you talking about? He said, man, he kind of got, he says a word I'm not gonna say on this air, but man, take your blah 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 down to Furman and you for that job. I'm like, okay, man, whatever. So I thought about it, went down and was able to get the AD job at Furman. So I'm a DC at Crestwood, AD at Furman Middle School, so Furman at that point in time, it's 1,000 kids there. So that's like a 2-3 high school at that point in time responsibility. So that helped me a lot with that. And I owe that to him because that definitely helped me more as a head coach, having that responsibility early on to kind of, dangle those different hats that you have by being a DC at a high school and also AD at the biggest middle school in the county at that point in time. So did for 2 years. Coach Cody retired, applied for a job at Crestwood and came back home.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I'm amazed at the stories of how people get to where they are right now as I listen to the different stories and the path that they take. And I never knew this about you. I heard you speak I hear you speak at the Touchdown Club, and very eloquently, I might say, you do it better than me. I just sit back and I said, wow, this guy got a gift for the tongue. But I am, as I said before, I am so proud of what you've done over there because I was eyeing you from far away. I was just looking at you and asking people about you and everything, and a couple of times we had conversations, and nothing, just talking just to find out who you are and what you are.
Right.
But I am ecstatic that you have gotten to where you are and everything. Let's talk about this program you have built over there. How s- how scared were you when you took that first job
Wow. I
at
tell you a true
Crestwood?
story. True story. When I came in, you go through the announce you got the head coach job and went and met the faculty and staff. So I sat down in Coach office. Like, Coach, what's the schedule? I knew we had a heck of a team the year prior. He lost right
Mhm.
about 35 seniors. He made a good run. So you print the schedule out. He gave me the schedule. I'm like, Coach, are you crazy? Why are you picking me 15 like this, man? I mean, open up the gate in the non-conference. There's like 3 teams that state championship caliber teams on there. I'm like, Coach, what are we doing? But Coach always want me. I don't care about how I play him. I don't care. I'm like, well, Coach, you retiring. You could have
Mhm.
doggone lighting the load for the next man coming in here. My goodness. But looking back on it, being a head coach is, to me, it's a very, very, it's a humbling experience. I never wanted to be like a cocky individual, but I kind of felt early on like, I got this. I got this. No problem. I got this. But it's a lot of moving parts, going
Mhm.
into first year head coach at a 4-year high school that's playing at point in time was probably one of the tougher conferences in the state. Also, you in a county that you're gonna play against, the Sumter High. You're gonna play against Cannons and Manners on a regular basis. It's not a cupcake at all.
Mhm.
So it's built. You got to do your homework. You got to. But my program, we base off of these our core values. First of all, we base off of faith. You got to believe in something a bigger, higher being yourself. I'm not going to embark my religion on my players, but day one they're gonna know that where I stand at by being believing in Jesus Christ. They're gonna know that to see that from me, because sometimes that's only faith based the kids might get by seeing the
Mhm.
people they deal with on a day-to-day basis. The next thing, our number 2 core value is family. Is family. We want to create a family atmosphere, and I'm all about relationship building, family atmosphere. Any kid that played in my program since I've been there, whether he was a starter or didn't play a whole lot, that Coach Nelson treated him like family. I'm going to love you up when you're doing the right thing. I'm going to tell you when you're doing the wrong thing. Treat you like family. I would say the third thing it would be is character. It is character. You got to have high character. You got to have high morals. Then on the fourth on that, education. Is education on that. I want my guys to graduate from high school first and foremost. I want to go to college. I'm gonna go in the military, do great things, educate yourself. Be better to be to go back and give back to your community or where you end up your next destination be at. Last thing is football. I talk about football very, very lightly, my guys. Very, very lightly. We talk about football while we're on the field, but as far as outside the field, we talk about all other 4 things. Your family, your character, education. What are you doing? What's your plans?
Mhm.
Because I told my guys, if you got those 4 things intact, come Friday, you can be successful. You can be successful on Friday night. I guarantee you. You see a kids on the field that's playing undisciplined, that's doing things outside of framework of the team. That kid probably got some character issues, or you probably failed in the class, or you probably got something going home as far as his family. Or he probably not properly aligned with whatever he believes in. So it's gonna rear head. So I try to knock out those 4 things much as I can, on a day-to-day basis with that. Because I kind of pull a piece from each coach that I work with and coach me throughout the years. I kind of see those 4 things, all those men that at some point in time. Some coaches I had might have preached more about family, some might have preached more about football, but all 5 of those things kind of collaborate together, and that kind of built my mood off of that.
When you got there, I know Keith helped you out a whole lot because he wanted that program to be sustained, and everything. Did you feel a lot of pressure coming?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did. I first felt that it wouldn't be much pressure to it, but someone told me before. A coach told me doing pregame actually. He said, "Man, Nelson, you probably got a tougher job than any coach in the area." He said, "You coaching at home." Is you coaching at home? He said, you go places in the grocery store, gas station, church, whatever. He said, folks know you. They know you. Next guy, he might not be from this community or somewhere else. So people might not necessarily know them. But folks know you, and they kind of hold you in a higher regard, or kind of think more of you or less of you. Could be both of them. Just how people are. So it is a lot more pressure on. And as far as the older I got, the more better I can definitely deal with that now. Early on, I was kind of kind of more or less worried about different situations. But now I know that even as a coach, getting more experience, what I'm doing, getting stronger in my faith and trusting more when I'm doing my ability. And also the staff around me, it's a lot more comforting.
Let's talk about your staff. How long has the staff been with you?
If you got changes here and there, but I would say right now, the last 4 years has been pretty much consistent, and that helps a lot. Consistent. I think I got a very, very unique staff that we have assembled. A good bit of former players that have played at the next level, have done a good job at the next level. But those my staff is also made up of those guys I'm looking for, those 5 program priorities though. Guys that got high character, got some type of faith base, that got a good strong family. They care about family, they got character, in education. They gonna preach education to their kid they're coaching. They're going to preach trying to make sure you get good grades. You carry yourself right off the field. We got 6 coaches on my staff that play college football. It's a total of 14 of us, but it's 6 of us that played college, maybe 7 that played college football. That you don't find often on high school staffs. Guys that played collegiately at the next level that can pull from different resources and pull from different experiences to help the kids out, and that helps me tremendously on that. And also we got a very unique far as age brackets on the staff. I got one coach on my staff. He's the youngest is age from about 27 on up to about 56. It's a different areas on there. I might have stuck in the middle off of that, but it helps a lot. I got some senior advisors on there. I got some young guys on there that can get out there and can kind of got a little more energy older guys got. But it's a great staff. Very, very fortunate for them. And that, I tell anybody, hire the right staff, that makes your job much easier as a coach. It does.
When you hire them, do you look for them to have all 5 of those qualities, some of those qualities, and working upward? I mean, what are you looking for? What is that thing that say, I want you on my staff?
First of all, they got to be, I would say a person that cares. A person that cares about kids. You can't be a coach, you don't care about kids. I mean, it just can't work. You might have a different delivery than some other people, but you got to care about kids first and foremost. I'm not trying to find a guy that's a offense or defense special team guru. Be coachable. Be coachable. Also bring some other intangibles to the table that's maybe not X's and O's. X's and O's. You might be that coaching staff that really great at communicating with parents. That's great at the technology piece. That's great at the weight room piece. That's great at the fundraising piece. That's great at the helping kids with the homework piece. You might be a coaching staff that's single, that don't have kids. That might be the coach can get in a little earlier, leave a little later. Those kind of things, that makes a big difference on your staff. It does. But I try to look for guys. I try to look for make sure all those components, you can portray those at some point in time.
What is the one main ingredient you look for in that staff? I mean, collectively. I know you got your 5 pillars right there, but what is that? What is that one thing that you look for as a staff collectively?
I would say the loyalty and the dependability portion. The loyalty part and dependability. That's to me that's the two biggest ones you're looking at. You want to be loyal to the program, loyal to the kid, loyal to the staff, loyal to your coworker. You might not agree with everything Coach Nelson does all the time. That's fine. I don't want you to agree with everything all the time. you know, but at the same time, if someone outside, you know, those four walls asks you, you know, what you got, what you think about this, you should say, you know, I'm with it. You know, I'm with it. You know, don't as far as bash the program and kind of go other directions, because that's stuff we don't have taking place right now. And you got to be dependable. You know, it's a lot of moving parts, as you know, coaching football. It's a year-round deal. You know, but I'm not one that's gonna keep my guys all night, all day. But when we working. You know, and we probably practicing and we having a good time,
Now, are you at that point now where you well, let me ask this question here before I assume anything. In the beginning, were you a lot hands-on?
Yes. Too much. Too much because you didn't. I was hands-on too much because maybe, you know, I didn't do a good enough job early on myself of actually coaching my coaches on what I want to get done. You know, so I feel I had to go back and try to do it myself. You know, because I always, like I said, the coach you coming up, you know, the coach Harley Fullwood, Don Clayton, Coach Crowder, I saw those guys like work their tail off all the time. I saw the assistant working also, but I saw those guys working all the time. So I figured, man, that's on you. You got to work. You got to be there. I still be there, but you got to find out. I found out in the last couple of years, you got to be to delegate and deviate. You got to delegate things out, make sure it's done.
It takes a lot of. It took me a long time to learn that because I was, and I think we all go through that. But
Right.
It took me a long time to learn that you're not the smartest cookie in the room. You know, sometimes you got to check yourself. And
I've learned to collaborate. You know, collaborate with your coaches, collaborate with them all on everything. You know, don't have guys in the dark. You know, don't have. I'm going to tell this coach this to plan, and don't tell that coach. No, all coaches need to know what's going on at all time. I might mess around and tell you first because I saw you first, but do know I'm going to tell other individuals also. I'm going to pick the phone call. I mean, this we got tomorrow. This is going on. This is what's taking place.
I think communication is one of the biggest thing in the staff. Do you agree with that?
It is. Communication also define your role. You know, what's your role?
Mm-hmm. When you came back, those kids, they have been under Crowley for years. What did you do to get them to stop believing in Roosevelt?
Just had to keep hammering home. You know, hammering home your core values and let them know, hey, listen, man, Coach Crowley coached me first. I mean, he coached me first. You know, he didn't coach, he coached me first. I was on the staff on the team that he got his first win for a playoff appearance. You know, we got a relationship. I had Coach Crowley come out and practice a few times. You know, I did early on. He came through a few times on to kind of observe practice or whatever. But it's like anything, it takes time. It took a little time, but you know, I'm definitely, you know, he did a great job of setting a great foundation there.
And you when did you know? Because is at that point in time, every coach I talked to, there's at that point where you know that the kids have bought in. They don't have to say it, but you know. When was that moment for you?
When I knew they bought in, I would say to me around year 4, 3 or 4. I mean, we had some crazy stuff happening starting out. I mean, we had the flood, had the wildfires. It was so much stuff that was taking place each year, you know, starting out. But I would say around 3 or 4. And I tell anybody, man, if I thought coming in, I was gonna be state champ coach in a year or 2. You know, not because I'm trying to be cocky and arrogant or whatever, but you know, hey man, I played major college football. You know, I know X and O's, this, that, and third. Guys that win state championships. I've been every state championship game played since I've been coaching, and just me sitting this thing, I know it's a lot of work put into it to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to get there, is you gotta get lucky. Also, you got some lucky breaks, all that stuff. You got to have line. The star got line right for you.
And then the kids bought into you, and what has it been like today? What are the kids like today?
I'll tell anybody. I would think this is 2022. I would say the 3 years ago, during COVID, but 2 years ago, we played 6 games. You know, actually prior to COVID, you know, we went, I think we went 4-3, I think, and I saw it changing. And even though before then we had went, you know, second round player before, I knew we had good teams then, but I would say that would have been the that 2018 senior group. I would say that group, and then they kind of set the bar, and then from 19 to 21, it kind of started going from there. But just on the actual, you started getting in the more higher character kids, the more kids that really hit those five program priorities. They hit those. They were hitting them, and it helped for, you know, kids. You're not having no distance in the school. You know, you're not having no. You check. I check grades every week during the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna check grades every single Sunday. I got a coach gonna check grades. We're gonna pull grades. You know, so you went from having X amount of, you know, academic issues to very, very few. They started dropping down. You know, you go from having, you know, no character issues in the office. I'm not getting a call from the principal saying, "Coach, come talk to me. I got a player here." Those start getting very, very low. They start getting very, very low. You know, you got, for example, you got practice might start at, you know, you got pre-practice at 4:00. You look on the field, it's 3:50. You got 85 kids out there. So they buying in, they out there quick. They're moving around, they excited about being out there. So that's the thing, but you got a lot of good kids in the program, great coaches. Coaches are pushing the same mission you pushing. You know, and I would say about 3 years ago, it really started going the right way on that.
You are in a tough city. There's a lot going on.
Right.
in Sumter.
It's a lot going on.
How do you keep your kids focused on the right thing instead of what's out there? You know, the glamour and the excitement and everything is out there in the streets. But how do you keep your kids out? What do you tell your kids? What do you preach, or do you rely on those 5 pillars to
relationships?
Mm-hmm.
You know, relationships, and I keep real with them. You know, I tell them it's consequences. You know, every time something comes up in the news or newspaper that's local that we can have a dialogue about, I'll talk to them about it. You look at someone who got maybe shot or got killed doing something crazy, we're gonna talk about that practice. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about how that person's decision they made affected, you know, people in their livelihood, people in the community, you know, and I talk about that, but also, you know, I incentivize my kids for doing the right thing. I mean, it's 2022. When I came to school, you was expected. You're gonna go to class on time. You come to school, you're gonna get beyond the road, you're gonna try your best. I started incentivizing kids. Didn't do much early on, you know, when I first got a job. You know, in the last 2-3 years, I incentivized my guys for doing the right thing. It's nothing about on the field on Thursday, Friday night. I try to incentivize those guys what they're doing 8 hours in that building, what they're doing community service in the community, and it helps kids see that. They see I'm putting their buddies on social media for going out, you know, speaking to some kids on a Saturday morning that's at a shelter or how we pick up. If I got them on social media by doing something great, guess what? They gonna want to do the same thing. So they're gonna want to get the social media to be you know, recognized for what they're doing. Or they see Coach Nelson, you know, giving the kids that got a beyond role, you know, giving them guys extra snacks at the practice or some old drinks or some t-shirts for making good grades. That kid gonna want to do more. I never. That's not about Friday night, Thursday night scoring touchdown and making sacks. It's about doing the right thing, being a good citizen.
You take care of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You never have to worry about Friday.
Never,
You know,
never.
it's
Games. I learned a lot of times games are lost Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're on
that's
Friday.
exactly right. Yeah, it's never on Friday. Um, you gotta have a good administration that's behind you. Obviously, with the success you've had, they pull behind you. What about how good is your administration?
They support me. Like I said, I mean, I'm thankful for my principal, Dr. Gamble, athletic director, Dwayne Edwards. 'Cause, I mean, look, if you look at my overall record is not definitely like some guys you had on here. I mean, I would definitely not say that. Because some people would have definitely, made changes in that and what that. But I'm definitely blessed that I'm doing the best I can do. You know, with the hand I'm dealt. I care about my kids. I'm gonna make sure my kids are gonna get recruited. They're gonna have good grade, be good citizens in the building, do the right thing. We all know it's results based business as it is. But at the same time, I'm very thankful that my administration have given me opportunity to see the bigger picture on a lot of situations and allow me to continue to work my work the plan.
Has Dr. Gamble been your principal all those years, or did you have?
She has. Yeah, she has. Same
That's
team. We
great.
got hired the same exact day.
That's great. That is great, and she understands what's going on.
Yes, sir.
But that's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. You got to have that. You got to have that good principal who understands what you're trying to do because if you don't go out there and kill nobody, they got your back. The good
Right,
ones. Yeah,
right, right, right. But now we don't know she don't call me for like we don't have some
yeah,
she
of
has
course.
she has, she has
That's
some
the nature of the
conversation
business.
for it's results based business and
Yeah.
and we had to go out there and do it.
Uh-huh.
But I mean I know all come for love and in the day everybody got to do a job.
Hmm. And your community, how have they treated you?
The community has been say great. I tell my wife all the time, I can feel you understand, you hear it in the stands, when it's good or bad or indifferent. I'm on the sideline, I got headphones on, I'm not looking back for 2-3 hours. I'm not caught up in what it's saying in the stands, but as far as I directly, I for one thing, I mean people going, it's people gonna have opinions. You have if you lose a game on a Friday, someone who pays $7 is gonna say, "Well, that's a bad coach. That's a
Hmm.
bad coach." But you look at the paper the next 2 months later, and that same coach just had 7 kids signed full scholarships. The same person. Well, that's a great coach. So it's gonna
Hmm.
be up and down. It's gonna be up. It's gonna be up and down. It's gonna be up and down all the time. That come
Yeah.
that's that come the territory. All I can continue to do is have faith in what I'm doing along my staff and the people that matters. Make sure they're satisfied the job you're doing. That's how I can put it.
How do you get these kids in school? What are some of the things that you do to get not get them in school because they have to perform? I mean,
Right.
that's what they have to do. But what do you do in your program that makes them college ready?
Well, for one, that's I learned this from Coach Parks, Perry Parks. Being in Sumter, being in Sumter County. Most times when the scouts come in, crews come in, look at the map. It's gonna say Sumter. Some of them might think it's on high school in Sumter. It's Sumter High, so they
Hmm.
might run in Sumter High and they hit the road and leave. But I understand that, so I just kind of get very creative. Early on as a head coach, I would take every Wednesday. I would dedicate 2 hours every Wednesday, 2 or 2.5 hours, make phone calls, text messages, email. I would just try to bombard coaches. I would go on. I put a big map up of like maybe all the conferences in surrounding areas. Whether it was in the Big South, ACC, SEC, Sun Belt, all of them. NAIA, D2 school, D1, and just send my guys stuff to them. Based off what I think they can play there or not. Send it to them, and you're gonna get hit sometimes. Sometimes you might not.
Hmm.
Once you get a hit on a kid, you kind of keep building that relationship with them, and it has evolved now to you got more social media based. You kind of got your Twitter and your football accounts, that kind of stuff, to kind of keep pushing that on that. But I still sometimes pick up the phone and adjust the aggravator coach, call them, text them, email them. When they come out of school to recruit a kid, I'm gonna try to have something they can put in their hand that's gonna give them something to look at concrete, for they can be able to get access to this kid, and gonna have the kid academic information on there, address, height, weight, measurables, and also have a rating sheet. As me as a high school coach, figuring that since I played college football, this kid I got rated as a D2 player, as a D1 player, to kind of go off of that. You got to want to. You got to love. You got to want to get kids, in a better situation. You got to.
Now, what do your kids do?
What they do?
Yeah,
I mean, they definitely know that, they got to do the schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
Schoolwork, and they got to make plays in the field. And also in far as, when I have my parents meeting, I put up on a presentation, things that's gonna get your child recruited. And the first slide is non-talented things. Non-talented, being on time, being coachable, being responsible, being a good citizen, doing the schoolwork. None of those things, how fast little Johnny can run, how big he is, they didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Having the high regards from your coach, So those are things I hammer to the parent that's gonna get your child even in the door. I can't sign you. I can only recommend you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all coach do. He can recommend you to a school. And the kids gotta put their best foot effort, put through academics.
How many kids have you got in the school thus far?
We're at 40. We close at 40.
And that's 40 in 7 years?
Yes, sir.
That's great, man. And the numbers are going to it's going to start blowing up on your hand a little bit, because when you start getting 4 or 5 kids on the average signing to go to somebody's school, and they begin to see the picture. How do you handle kids who want to do other sports?
I love it. I love it. I mean, I tell them all the time, play more than one sport. I give them an example back to the recruiting. When scouts come into school, one of the main questions, what do you play?
Mm-hmm.
And do you play other sports, coach? I mean, I want my guys to play, other sports. Because one, it teaches you to get a different perspective from someone else on campus. It does. I'm confident when I do my program, we're gonna make sure we're gonna take care of you. Go ahead and definitely support the school by doing something else. Help yourself out by playing other sports. Make sure you still, keeping yourself in athletic condition. And I'm gonna still check behind you. Are you playing basketball, baseball, or soccer? Yeah, I'm gonna still put your grades. We still have a conversation, even though you're not in that particular season. Cause we check them once a week during the season. Also, you check them every 2 weeks. I have some guys that play baseball, basketball. I'll call them, man. They start slipping. What's going on, man? We need to get back on the right track. To make sure coach is still there, coach still watching out. And I go to the games too. I support them. I go to the game. I tell them I'm gonna go basketball game and sit down with popcorn and see how you play, since you play ball so good.
You don't have a big well, don't let me ask it that way, because I don't want to put you on the spot. But you do encourage kids to diversify.
Yeah.
Because you never know when that
you
know where that scholarship is going to come from.
Because I can tell them I played football, ran track, and played basketball in high school. So I can relate to you by playing more than one sport. I'm not a selfish coach at all. I want to see guys go out there and play. Some of the most successful players in all athletics is plays well. And I did a PowerPoint presentation to my parents a couple years ago and showed them that, it was 1 year particular NFL draft that, out of 32 teams that picked first, it was like 28 guys played in 2-sport high school. Mm-hmm. And those guys are were first rounds in football, but they still played 2-sport high school though.
I saw a video clip a couple of nights ago when I got through with I was preparing for the podcast last night, and I just saw a picture of Allen Iverson. And guess what, Allen? Huh?
quarterback.
I didn't know that.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
it was tough. It
yeah,
was
and he
tough.
was and he didn't play.
Right. He didn't play at all. He was
Yeah,
tough.
I
He
didn't
was
I
tough.
didn't realize that until last night, and I went and looked up some more tapes. I said, boy, this boy, he could have gone either way.
Either
You
way,
know,
he
but
was
you know
tough.
what? As I look at tapes of him now, that was that mentality
Right.
on the basketball court.
Right.
No
Right.
fear, no
Mm,
fear. And I don't understand kids today who don't want to get that experience of having no fear.
yeah.
To get out there and do it. And my daddy told me a long time ago, if you want to make $1 million, go find somebody who's made $1 million and go talk to them.
Right.
You want to know how to be good, how to get scholarships, how to get to the third level. Go talk to somebody who's been at the third level and listen to his story. I mean, there are countless stories of guys playing both sports. You got Michael Jordan played, LeBron played in
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Then I just found out about Iverson there, and there are countless more out there.
Yes.
And I think that story's not being told enough. And we got to get away from this. I'm preaching right now, okay?
I got you. I got you.
We got to get away from the specialization because all we're doing is hurting the kids.
It's hurting them. It's
Yeah.
hurting them. It's hurting them. I mean, it's hurting them. It is. It's hurting them.
Now you are going to, of course you are, because I voted for you. I think you were going to be as on the North-South squad this year
Yes,
as a
sir.
coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kn- I knew that because we voted.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way,
Thank
man.
you.
How does that feel?
Thank you. It felt good. I was sitting down at the house looking at some TV, and I would check some emails on my laptop, and I saw email like, wow. I said, is this a typo? What's going on here? I looked there. I said, man, I'm excited about that, and just thrilled. Having had kids in it, going down, and spending time with them. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna be in it this year. Coaching the All-Star game. That's a to be voted in by your peers and looked upon as one of as in his All-Star game. It's an honor. I'm very, very humble for the opportunity.
Well, you're going to have a lot of fun down there. Tell me, you know, it's a blast. To see different kids and everything, to see that gleam in their eyes,
Yeah.
and it's just something else. Did you play in one of those?
Yes, I played in the Shrine Bowl. Played in Shrine Bowl in 2000.
And how was that experience for you?
It was great. It was great. It was cold though. It was great. It was it was great. It was cold. It was a cold one, man. It was cold.
Yeah.
We were loaded too. We were loaded, man. We Chap Hill. I mean, no, they didn't stand a chance. We beat them like 64-14.
Well,
Man,
y'all,
we were loaded. We were
y'all,
loaded, guys.
yeah, y'all beat them like they stole a government mule, as they say.
Yeah, we got some guys. We got some
Who's
guys.
on that team?
Man, it was Tomir Zimmerman, Roscoe Crosby,
Oh God.
Ben Hall, Kyle Browning,
Wow.
man, Rocky McIntosh. Oh man, we had so many guys. Jaws Galls, Coach. It was loaded with South Carolina Clemson players, man. It was. We had some guys. We did. And funny, I spoke with one of the Coach Lindsay, the DB coach up at NC State. Was up there at talking to him and just talking about times in college, and he came up. He was on that team and we thrashed, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we were laughing about that, man. But we had some guys. I think that team is probably one of the better All-Star teams in South Carolina history, though.
Yeah, let's just listen to some of those names, man. I just remember them, and
Yeah.
they were
Aries
players.
Curry. Yeah, Aries Curry's on that team. We had some guys. Yeah, Ricardo Hurley was on there. Yeah.
If you were to give an advice to a young coach, what would that advice be? And not to say that you're old.
I would. The advice would be, if you wanna sit in the chair as a head coach, to definitely, do your due diligence, your research by speaking to coaches, high school coaches, not necessarily all the ones that got state titles. Speak to a vast majority of them. Kind of collaborate the ones that are state champion caliber coaches, collaborate ones that run great programs. If you can talk to some that maybe that's not having much success, and kind of get reason why that they're not having success. Find out the ones that's having great success, how they sustaining it, and find out what the ones in the middle of the pack are doing to get the success, to climb the level on that. And once you go in and have a plan, the things you gotta stay true to, as far as making sure certain things admin's gonna be able to give you when you work your plan. For whether it's staffing, whether it's having your football classes, whether it's practices, uniform, anything you can think of you're gonna need, have a list. Have that number in your head you want to get done. And if they're willing to meet you halfway on that, also you want to go somewhere some people, going give you time and going to support you and serious about, the kids. You want to go to a place serious about the winning, or go to a place serious about building these kids, and winning's gonna come. Because some people might jump and was considered about just the winning standpoint. You might win a lot of games. You might win a lot of games with your kids not going to school, when your kids are not graduating, your kids are getting out and not doing great things in the community. Have you really won? Have you really won? You won the state title, you in the books, you won the conference, you in the books for that, definitely. We all want to win games. But my biggest thing, you want to make sure you winning kids, winning the right way.
One word I didn't hear is, and I use this a lot, patience.
Right.
You're not gonna get in there and be a head coach, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of time these guys, they don't understand just a little bit more than the X's and O's. There's a lot. X's and O's is not that big a deal.
That goes in the back half. That goes in the back half. You might be a great X and O coach, but you really not. You might miss that component of their relationship with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Your kid might graduate from there and never come back and see you.
That's right.
All the guys that we've been able to put in school. I know that all those kids contact me pretty often. They try to come out of school to see me. We got one kid, Tassan, that's with the Ravens, and we talk at least once every couple of months. About things in life. I had one kid, Donald Rutledge, now with Canadian League, and spoke to him a couple of days ago. It's all about relationships. And I call guys up, hey man, how you doing? I'll call early morning, so I call like 6, 7 in the morning early, wake them up. What you got going on, man? You going to class? Kind of see where they head at. But so I had 2 kids this year that won that championship at South Carolina State. I'm excited about that. 2 of them got that championship at South Carolina State. Gary Zimmerman, the kicker, and Chris Simon, who's the right tackle. They got a state championship. They're gonna come out and talk to my kid doing spring practice. I'm gonna set up some players that came through doing well, come out and talk to my kid doing spring practice. Each day.
So that's good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that Crestwood is in great hands now, and I didn't know you that much before, but I know you better today. And I think this is why that the passion is to do these shows, because we actually walk by each other, but we don't know each other.
Right.
And people want to know, and if anybody is smart, they would hit them digits and talk to you about your program, and always bring a masking tape with you. And the masking tape is to put over your mouth so you don't, and just write the questions down. Right. And put a piece of masking tape over your mouth and open your ears and listen and take a lot of notes, just take a lot of notes. And trust me, when that time comes, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. As 1 hour. I didn't realize it, man. This is easy going.
Bye.
Yeah, we done good, and it's always good to talk to guys, and and non-script, because you talking about your program, you're talking about your kids, you're talking about your baby, talking about your staff, and you don't have to prepare for that. You can come out
Right.
here and just
No,
you
no,
can
no
just
script.
you can just go ahead and let it rip, and let people know what's going on at what's y'all mascot?
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
The nice.
I can never remember that and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. 2 questions. Always end with 2 questions, and they're all about people. And I'll start with the first one. Okay. If you could sit with anybody in the world for 1 hour, a non-coach. No, I wouldn't even label that. It could be a coach. Who would that one person be?
1 hour.
1 hour.
For me, it'd be Tony Dungy.
Why, Tony?
Because I just like what he stand for. I mean, I read every book he had come out. Um, I enjoy reading about his story, how he connected people, how he was a pioneer in the not necessarily league, but going through college and coming through Minnesota and being a quarterback, getting the league and having to go deep inside the ball. I just like his journey. He's always a people person. He's giving. He's he's a selfless individual that has a tremendous in his way to bringing people together. It'll be Tony Dungy.
Quick story about. I guess I'm old enough to have these stories, but we were at a clinic in Dallas. I coached out in Dallas at the high schools in Dallas years. This is years ago. This when Tony was an assistant coach. I can't remember what college or I can't remember where it was. And Tony was speaking at a clinic that day, and he got to talking for 1 hour at how you do that at the clinics. And he
Right.
came and he was sitting down there at the door. Nobody knew who Tony Dungy was. He could be anybody, but he struck our staff so hard, so much. Don't you know this man went to another room because one of our assistant coaches, who was a defensive back coach, this man took him in a room, and I went to, and he stayed. He clinicked that coach for 2 hours.
Wow.
And it just amazing. And then I remember that story as he was growing up and everything. And I always say, the more you give, the more you're going to get back. And he has
Right.
always been a class guy, always been in that. And he probably never remembered that story, but I remember that, and that really impressed me about him,
Wow.
and it really made me jump on this bandwagon. You got 1 hour with the coach. Who would that coach be?
1 hour with a coach.
Yeah.
Wow. 1 hour with a coach. 1 hour. Man. 1 hour. I would say, man, I'm trying to 1 hour. Can I go 2 coaches?
Fine, I'll let you have 2.
Right now, today, I would say Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, and a former teammate of mine, Tony Elliott at Virginia.
You playing with
One
Tony?
offense side of the ball, one
Yeah.
defense side of the ball.
Why? Let's start with Coach Freeman first.
I was on a Zoom, a defensive Zoom before he became the head coach at Notre Dame. He just recently became the head coach, and he just blew me away as far as his beliefs in defensive football, his beliefs in having that communication with the players, making sure they on the field, they equip the tools on and off the field. I want to sit down and pick his brain, for some more in depth about his journey, and just the whole thing. He's the head coach at Notre Dame, man. That's pretty big time. And with Tony, which I know Tony personally. Tony was our senior captain when I was at Clemson, but to see him evolve to where he's at now, and I kind of want to sit down and get more in depth with him on just him being at the head coach at the University of Virginia now. I spoke to him about a month or two ago. I might go see him this summer, actually. But definitely, those are two individuals I would say I would just sit down and talk with. Tell you the truth. A funny story about Tony before we go. I was on campus. That was my junior year, and Tony had already been out walking one day, and I had a bad semester academically. I just kind of didn't do my best I was supposed to. And Tony was at the tire place at a point in time, Michelin. He rolls up on me, and man, get in the car. I got in the car. I'm like, what's up? And Tony just wore my behind out, man. He wore me out. Somebody had told him, man, you better talk to Nelson, man. He wore my behind out. He said, man, you better make sure you get your butt in track, get your butt in gear. You're gonna get up out of here. So that's kind of the guy Tony was, man. That's him. He was always what you see now with him as a head coach, that was him in college. That's him.
He is another class guy, man, and the issues that he had in his past, and he overcame.
Right.
Right. Life is nothing but overcoming obstacles, and to get to where you want to go. It's never going to be easy. You just got to roll with it and deal with it and climb up and everything. Well, two good choices, man. I couldn't come up with anything. I didn't hear Coach Freeman and from my other guests, but Tony Dungy, I think, has about 3 or 4 votes already from some of the other guys. Well, we're about to close out. Any closing remarks you have? Anything you want to say?
I'm just thank you for allowing me to come on and share. And I would always say, man, my foundation, started at home. Started at home. Had a great example. 2 parents. 2 parents that blue collar family. Also I got a big family on both sides. They've done an outstanding job of raising me. I got a loving wife and 2 kids at home, and that's what I get that's my foundation, man. Besides my faith, my family has definitely been there for me. I brushed shoulders with a lot of good people that got me in the position I am. A lot of good people. I can't even start naming all of them. They had a chance from family to co-workers to friends to people in the community, even folks that have been praying for me success that I would never meet. I'm thankful for all those as well.
Well, I am so ecstatic to have you on, man. And again, when they said that you are a young lion, you are, and just it can only get better from here. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. The pleasure was all mine. I learned a lot. I mean, I go back and look at these things, and I be writing notes down and everything, man, because the minute you stop learning, that's when you start declining. And you never know where that inspiration is going to come from. And I think sometimes we age ourselves and say, well, I'm old enough to be his dad. I know more than him, but can't ever get to that point, man, because of these guys and everything. Well, Roosevelt, thank you again, and good night. And tell your wife, thank you for letting me have you for an hour. Okay.
We'll do. Just came home. I to get about it now.
Okay, man. We'll talk to you later. Okay.
All right, take care. Thank you.
All right, family. Next week, we got Sean Wright, head football coach at Cross High School. And on May 4th, next Wednesday, we have Corey Crosby from Bamberg Earhart High School. Like I said, guys, we're going to bring the best and the brightest to you. And, these guys are giving up their time and sharing what they do in their program. And I hope that some of you are taking notes. And as you review this and as you go over it again, thank you for being with us tonight. And as I always say, tell somebody you love them and give them a hug. Good night.